Hey, what's up guys? My name is Moda and welcome back to the Mining Stacker YouTube channel. Today's video, we're going to talk about the huge controversial change coming from DIMO and their new subscription model. We're going to talk about it. We'll talk about the costs, when it's going to take effect, who's going to affect, which is going to be everybody on the network, and kind of different timelines, and just give our overall thoughts on the situation, right? Realistically, do have a lot of thoughts kind of all over the place. We're going to talk about the changes and just answer a lot of the questions that I know I definitely had. I'm sure a lot of you guys have also. Okay. If that sounds good, guys, stay tuned. Let's get right to this thing. So we're going to go over all the changes, kind of answer as many things as we can, and kind of go just through my overall thoughts on the situation as a whole, because through this lens, it does definitely give more clarity on their view of the situation, not only the situation, but their view of the project, how they see it going forward, and kind of my opinions on it, which honestly have changed quite a bit, right? And their reasoning and their justifications and their insight just kind of gives you insight on where their mind frame is, and it's not fully in line with my perspective, right? So that does definitely change things for me at least. But let's start on this guy. Let's go right to the big changes. The R1 device is now only $99.99 and comes with 6 months of free app access. After that, you get to choose if you want to pay annually, it's $100 or $10 a month. Okay. So pretty big change. Obviously, it is a little bit cheaper, but you're also getting less of the app access. Okay. So if you bought the R1 on launch, you are getting those 2 years we were promised. This is mainly affecting anybody new coming in. You're only going to get 6 months. Okay. So that's one thing to factor in. Let's continue down with the changes. This is just kind of reiterating this. Already connected with the R1, you've got the best deal. Your first 2 years of app access are free if you pair it on May 30th, 2025. Your subscription doesn't start until June 1st, 2027. And we're building features to make every penny worth it. Why the change? Collecting meaningful car data 24/7 is powerful, but comes with real costs. Subscription covers everything from SIM costs to connectivity and all the app features tied to that car. No hidden fees, right? So at the end, we're going to go through all the changes first, and then we'll give our thoughts on all of this stuff, because we do have quite a few things to say on all of these things. Then they're just reiterating here the overall goal of DIMO, and it's we do not sell your data, right? With DIMO, you can choose to monetize your data through marketplace apps or share it on your own terms. You stay in control. So essentially, and this has kind of been the thing, is right, they're kind of pretty much the infrastructure for this to kind of take place, right? They've always been a connection protocol versus like a sensor protocol, right? That's kind of the easiest way to think about it. Essentially setting up the infrastructure for you if you want to do that with your data, and kind of getting other customers involved to potentially purchase that data if they so choose to. They're the ones creating all the infra for it, all the everything set up for it, so they can do what they want to do with the data, right? It's up to them whether they want to use it for whatever reason. It's open there, and it's open for both parties, right? They're essentially just the middleman with the infrastructure. Okay. Let's go to some more of the things. There was a little bit more info in the Discord. So we've had a lot of great questions. So here's a quick breakdown of what's changing and what's not. Number one, your data is your choice. We do not sell your data, period. With DIMO, you can choose to monetize it through apps or share it on your own terms. You stay in control. So again, just reiterating the fact that it's up to you. If you don't want to do that with your data, which a lot of us who are in this project, it's specifically for that reason, because that's where we see value in it. But again, it's up to you. Number two, wallet access stays free. So checking your wallet, tokens, and stakes in app will always be free. So this is kind of important. So even if you decide you don't want to pay the subscription and it's already over and it's going to be time for you to pay, if you are staked, for example, you don't have to pay a subscription to like unstake it and claim it. You're still going to have access to the wallet and those tokens. You just won't have access to all the features that are there. Number three, using the R1 device now requires a subscription to access your car's data insights, widgets, and stay eligible for weekly DIMO rewards. You need an active subscription for each connected vehicle. Okay, so you're not going to earn unless you're subscribed. The other question this is answering is, let's say you are owner of 3 vehicles. You can't just have one sub and have all 3 of them on that one sub. Each individual vehicle is going to need their own subscription. Number 4, one price all in. The subscription covers everything from SIM costs to connectivity and all the app features tied to that car. No hidden fees. We'll talk about that here in a bit. Number 5, DIMO stays open source, which is fine. Let's go down more. Many are obviously skeptical. Number one, when you bought your device, the website said that connectivity would be provided for 1 year with the AutoPi, 2 years with the R1, or 3 years with the Macron. That will still be honored. Okay? And they're kind of reiterating that that implies that it's not free after this time. Okay, so we'll probably mention this again here, but let's talk about it while it's fresh. The issue that most of us have with this statement is that while this is true, they made it crystal clear with the AutoPi is going to be 1 year, the R1, 2 years. The expectation or the message that was relayed from them is that fee would be a connection fee. It was only for the connection. You're paying because of that LTE. You're paying because of the Macron. You're paying those helium credits for that connection fee. We weren't expecting to pay a connection fee as well as a dev fee, essentially, which is what they're talking about with those features, right? You're paying more than just the connection fee. Even in the statement he said, the website said that connectivity would be provided for 1 year. Not the rest of it. Okay, so just like they mentioned, no hidden fees in the other statement. It would be nice if all that was fully disclosed. Out of your $10 a month, $7 is going to the LTE, $3 is going to the team, or whatever it may be, right? A little more clarity would be nice on that front. Okay, so a lot of people are pissed just on the transparency factor. Again, it's only a couple bucks more a month because realistically, out of the $10, especially for the LTE devices, the majority of that is going to be the connection. But for clarity purposes, it would be nice to see that. Okay. Number two, baseline earnings continue in more ways to save. Discounts on fuel, maintenance, etc. and earn. And they're talking about the partners. Okay, so this one, I get their viewpoint also. I think honestly the subscription notice is coming a little bit too early. Okay, the reason I'm saying that is it would have also been nice for them to wait until these incentives were a little bit more tangible. What I'm meaning by that is like, yes, you can, offer to give up your data on Royal, DLP, Beacon, etc. in exchange for like testnet tokens or points. There's not a clear incentive model with that either. It would have been nice if they would have waited until maybe they hit mainnet, so that way we can get a better perception or see what the value may actually be. Right? Because although we're bitching and moaning about this fee, but if we can get, $2 a month from DLP, $3 a month from Beacon, and we're saving 5% on car insurance from this company, we're saving 10% on tires from this company, then things can make a little bit more sense, right? Then at that point, we have a tangible number. Like, okay, although yes, I'm paying $10 a month, I'm actually going to be earning $15 in incentives that I'm actually going to use per month. Right? Not just a speculative nature and like, oh, you could earn this, you could earn that. You're earning these magic internet money points for something that we don't even know if it's ever going to make it to mainnet, right? If you're going to charge the fee at this point, would have been better to kind of at least wait for one of those. I think the only one currently is Royal. I believe they are already offering. But it would have been nice for them to kind of wait on that front. Just again, for messaging purposes, for marketing purposes, that would have been a much better way to sell it instead of potentially, right? Actually having a figure, a tangible, real world figure, could lead to better things. Number three, I think many of you would be pleasantly surprised with the results of all remaining users being brought in, engaged, and connected with high quality data sources. Nobody will be charged just yet. And let's keep going down. So clarifying your free period. Before today, you were promised on the product page 1 year for the AutoPi, 2 years for the R1, 3 years with the Macron. And you're still going to get what you were promised. The 6 months relays or is related to everybody just coming in now. So anybody purchasing one now, that's what it's going to be. So here's another big question. Tesla, many AutoPi owners are on year 3 of their 1 year free trial. They're talking about the AutoPi. We're actually quite late in charging the subscription. If the product experience with your AutoPi or Macron isn't good in terms of data quality, it's likely that the R1 would fix that. So we're talking about connectivity issues with older vehicles. If you had, let's say, a 2012, whatever, and you're really getting inaccurate data, chances are it's going to be because of that. It's going to be because of the device and the age of the vehicle potentially. Yes, Teslas will eventually pay a subscription as well, which is unfortunate. Likely a reduced amount given the official integration we have that saves us money. So that is going to be a big hit. Macron will also likely be a reduced amount given the cheap cost of the IoT network, fewer features, and lower earnings. Many non-Tesla software cars will likely be getting an upgrade to get much better data, which will cost us more, hence the subscription. Other, nobody's being charged yet, but we'll share more about when the devices that have passed their free trial on software cards will start paying, likely August 1st. Okay, so older devices and the connections without hardware, looks like it's coming soon. Bounty, Tessie, Fix, Geotab, etc. are other telemetry products that also charge subscriptions. They don't offer tokens though. So that's what they're kind of using to differentiate themselves. So we have some thoughts on that. Now that we're reaching bigger scale and our features are improving, it's time for us to make something real. If you're receiving a product for free, it's because you are the product. We do not sell your data. DIMO burns tokens when you use apps like Royal, DLP, etc., and they pay to connect your car. If things are working right, DIMO will help you save far more than it costs to connect, which this is the overall goal. And there still is potential there, right? For example, once we have more real world numbers on these partners, maybe we can see numbers there. Also, keep in mind that the amount you're currently earning, right? A lot of us are not too happy with the amount we're earning per month. And then especially when we compare the fees for this thing, but understand that if DIMO's coin value goes up, the dynamics do change quite a bit, okay? The other big thing to consider here is that the way the rewards mechanism works is we're all sharing from one pool. So when you guys who are miners, you kind of understand the relationship with like difficulty and overall hash rate. As there's more people connect to the pool, your rewards get smaller. Kind of the same story here. So if a lot of people are disconnecting, are unplugging, your rewards are likely to increase, right? So specifically, one of the larger connections is actually with these Teslas. Okay, so I personally do probably see a lot of people opting to not pay that fee, therefore disconnecting after August 1st if it does take effect at that point. So do not be surprised to see an increase in rewards by then. To what extent, we're going to have to wait and see, but that is something to consider. Okay, so that's the bulk of the changes. Now going to go through over all the gripes, kind of all the issues with a lot of the changes, mainly from my perspective as well as a lot of the community members. And this is stuff we've been talking about. Okay, so let's talk about one of the biggest gripes, and it's with the lack of transparency, right? So the connection fee, so let's go back to that little statement. When you bought your device, the website said that connectivity would be provided for 1 year. The issue that people are having with the subscription model is that it's not just the connection fee. It's a connection fee plus an app and features fee, so essentially a dev fee on top of that. That's not what we signed up for. It is definitely more than just a connection fee. So yes, again, it is only a couple of bucks, but it's a transparency thing, okay? So the other big thing is that they're making the argument like, oh, we do need to get paid. We have developers that are doing this. They're doing it on the back end. None of this stuff is free. It does take work, and that's absolutely true. They're kind of making it sound like they're not getting any revenue and they need it to come from here, right? They're saying that, let's just get to the numbers. Okay, so they actually are bringing in revenue from the protocol itself. Okay, so you can see here they do have a Dune dashboard with all their analytics, and you can see how much revenue they make on a monthly basis. This is the cumulative protocol fees. Ultimately, these past few months, for example, in May and in June, over accrued fee of $528,000, you can see the total revenue they've made is about $536,000. So they are making protocol revenue there. So that's one portion. The other portion is from the tokenomics themselves, right? So this is something they're kind of not mentioning there also, but the team also does have unlocks, okay? As a matter of fact, just this month, they have a monthly unlock. There's 2 allocations. One is early investors, so private sale investors, and team advisors and contractors getting 6 million every month for a total of about 9.5 million that's getting unlocked every single month. So yes, the team is getting an allocation that is fairly hefty every month. Again, 6 million versus, or let's look at in the fiat value, 380,000 versus the 200,000 that gets unlocked on a monthly basis in rewards. Because again, it's a weekly unlock, 50,000 in emissions in comparison to that. And that's every single month. Okay, so I get it. They're trying to make money on both sides, and that's going to be their business model is that they want to make money from the partners that are coming in. So, like DLP Beacon, they're charging them those fees. They're trying to make money there, and they're going to make money from us as well, right? And that's kind of the issue that I have is that essentially they're making the contributors of the network into customers of the network, and that's not necessarily what we signed up for, right? So again, it's only a couple of bucks. In reality, it's not that big of a deal. It's more of a principle issue, right? I think most people's kind of concept or viewpoint of this thing is that the data points should be essentially free. They should be included as part of the purchase of the unit itself. That's how a lot of the other features and products and such work. But the fact that there's a connection fee and a dev fee for those features on top of that is just something that a lot of us don't like, right? So again, to each their own. I get it. In reality, that's kind of more bullish because they're making money on both ends, right? They're making money from the contributors as well as those partners. It's just, I think, in most people's viewpoint, us as being the contributors, that should be kind of the incentive for making that data potentially available if we choose so. Because at the end of the day, where's the value coming from for DIMO? Like, why would partners want to come in and build with DIMO? It's because they want access to the data that we are providing. Okay, so that's kind of our viewpoint, why we're kind of annoyed with even just having a small couple dollar fee with that is that realistically we're already paying for the hardware and then we're not getting enough tokens to cover the subscription cost. So there's kind of a disconnect there, right? So it's going to be up to viewpoints. From our perspective, it's going to suck. From the protocol perspective, again, they're making money from the partners as well as the consumers of this thing, which in reality are going to be us now, right? Part of the issue with that, though, is determining whether or not you see value in this thing, and that's kind of where the gripe is, right? So for me to be charged $10 per month, do I see enough real-world value where, you know what, for the data I get, it kind of makes sense? In this case, honestly, it doesn't, right? And this is coming from the perspective of a lifelong car guy. I would not pay $10 a month for the data that's provided. Okay, I get it that it's a connection fee. There's other solutions to that. We'll talk about that here in a second, but it's just for what's provided. I mean, most of us, especially if you are a car guy, you're going to buy an OBD2 scanner that's under $20, or you're going to drive to AutoZone where they do it for free. They're going to give you the code. You're able to clear the code, do whatever. And even if you wanted something that is a little bit more intuitive, does have other things, their competitors are just a lot cheaper also, right? So for example, there's this thing called Fixed, sells on Amazon, same exact thing, $39.99 for the unit, and does have a subscription fee, but only for the additional features. You only have to pay that premium, the subscription fee, if you want access to having mechanics on duty, repair estimates, and an AI mechanic, and those type of things. The diagnostic code reader, the, being able to clear engine codes, being able to look at performance live data, all of that stuff is still free even with something like this, right? So even comparing it to that, to me, the value's kind of not there. And again, I could see value maybe from like a fleet perspective, somebody who's running a fleet, somebody who owns like a plumbing company or an HVAC company, they want to be able to manage their vehicles. Even then, kind of a tough sell. I mean, most likely, like if I were in that position, I would be more inclined to get like a Hive Mapper, for example, which to me, that data points are just more valuable. Example, having a dash cam for insurance purposes, accident purposes, being able to locate the vehicle, like, hey, is it still on site over here, or are there the next one? I could look at it in real time. I could look at fuel consumption in real time. I could look at all that stuff in real time for a similar cost, right? For me, like onboard diagnostics, it's not something I would pay $10 a month for, right? Because again, even from the fleet perspective, most people managing those fleets contract out any vehicle repairs, right? Because again, most of the information you're getting from there are onboard diagnostic tools, right? You are going to be able to get insights such as like fuel mileage, miles per gallon, who's driving how many miles, et cetera, et cetera. But again, those are things that are also available elsewhere. Okay, so it just kind of depends on the data points and what you value. Me personally, though, I get there's a connection fee because of the LTE or because of whatever. It's just I personally don't see the value in $10 a month, right? So that's definitely going to be a potential issue there. But again, I'm sure they've done their research and they do see a product fit there. But again, when we look at competitors offering similar things that aren't necessarily super groundbreaking and aren't super popular, it doesn't give me a lot of hope on that front. Again, for me, most of the value I see is on the other end, right? Not necessarily from us, but from the partners, from DLP, Beacon, like them being able to get that data. That to me is kind of where the value is, or at least the value I see. Is it real world? Maybe, maybe not. They're going to have more insights on it. They have their business models, they have their figures and their projections, but that's just from where I see it, right? That to me is what I would see as a better value, not necessarily this end from it, right? Another big factor that is concerning people, and I don't blame them, is the fact that your current earnings, like for example, even at R1, I'm maxed out on the connection. I don't have any staked, but even as is, I wouldn't earn enough to even cover the subscription fee. Okay, they should have probably maybe lowered it as much as they could to kind of at least match that. So it's essentially like you're getting the subscription for free if you want to just sell your demo for that, right? That at least would have been a better thing. And then the argument comes in, oh, well, you can sell your data, you can give it up to DLP or to Beacon or for these things. The issue there is that that's more speculative, right? We don't know what that real value of that is going to be. Okay, versus this fee we're paying isn't speculative. It's there. That's why like it would have probably been in their better interest to kind of wait until we did have more tangible benefits, meaning again, you can get $2 from this one, $1 from this one, 10% savings on your trims from over here. And now it's like, okay, I'm getting like $18 of value for $9.99 a month. Not too bad. Let me jump in. Versus Magic Internet Money Tokenomics where it's testnet points. Not very appealing there, right? Especially if you're trying to get like the Web 2 crowd. Okay. Another big thing is kind of their messaging is loud and clear, right? We went through Twitter, we went through X, we went through different responses, kind of got the same answer with everything, and essentially that they're tired of us miners or us people just kind of leeching off the project and it's time for us to pay, right? There was a couple comments essentially saying, oh, we've already paid you guys tens of millions and it's now time for you guys to begin to reinvest. Not the best way to put things, right? Again, I'm in a lot of DePin projects and there's been similar struggles there. And I get it, but at the end of the day, kind of the purpose of doing it this way, like giving those incentive models, is for token distribution. It's a way to incentivize people to come in. In this case, though, what I'm not a fan of, if it seems like they're just using it as a mechanism to differentiate themselves from things like fixed, right? That was kind of one of the rebuttals with some things. Oh, well, with these guys, you're not earning tokens, you are here. The issue I have is that it's kind of making it clear that this is not a like crypto focused project, meaning that they want to have all the revenue, all the tokenomics, everything derived from the token value. They're kind of just using it as like an offset. Like here, this is kind of a little bonus versus trying to maximize that token, utilize that token, create value in that token, which creates project and that project as a whole, right? So like, for example, for me, I get it that they view us as essentially like leeching off the project, but in my opinion, we are what creates value to the project. We are the ones providing that data because at the end of the day, without cars putting their data up for potential sale, why would people want to build on DIMO, right? If there's only 1,000 cars available, the hell kind of data points you're going to get from there? You're going to get it from having 200,000 cars connected on the network and like, okay, there's a lot of history here. There's a lot of these things here. That data looks like it's valuable, right? So again, kind of without us, to me, there's no value there, right? So to me, you should definitely be incentivized for providing that value. Okay, so they're going to view it differently. In their opinion, we should be paying them for that, and that's why I kind of disagree. Because again, when you guys in the mining world, we know it, we've heard it. This is an argument we've had over and over. If you guys remember Firo, that was the big disconnect, and that's what killed it. When they came out saying, oh, miners are just adding cell pressure, they're just extractors, blah, blah, blah. And we've seen that time and time again with many proof of work projects, many other DePin projects. Not the best viewpoint to have for contributors of the network, right? So, not a big fan of that. The only benefit from that, though, is that they are making money on both ends, right? They're making money from potentially these partner deals as well as the people contributing to the network, which, depending on your viewpoint, again, from our viewpoint, not a good thing, but for the overall protocol, kind of double dipping in a sense, right? So, to each your own on that front. Another big thing, even on like the crypto side, the tokenomics side, it just seemed like a huge oversight. And to me, kind of gives you perspective on their viewpoint on the crypto side, right? So an easy way to add demand or to add like value to the token, utilities to the token, is to have people pay the subscription fee in DIMO. That to me makes 100% sense. You got to have some kind of, essentially like a DePin flywheel, some kind of reason to speculate on the coin, some reason for people to actually buy the coin. Utility, this is an easy one, right? And the argument we've had with some of the other projects and fixes that they've implemented, because the argument comes down to, okay, well, for you crypto people, you guys know what you're doing, but for normie down the street, he doesn't want to have to buy crypto in order to do this. He just wants to do it. Well, that's why a lot of them have the option to also pay in fiat, and that conversion is done on the back end. Okay, so that way they can pay with just their credit card, and then the crypto portion of them buying the demo is done on the back end. A lot of the other DePin projects do something similar because, again, to cater to both sides, but it just creates demand for the token and creates utility for the token, which can potentially lead to token appreciation, which for most of the projects, that's one big part of the goals, right? They want to generate revenues from the protocol itself, as well as potentially increase the value of the token in some form or fashion, because most of the projects, that's how they're incentivized, that's how they're compensated, right? It's based solely off the tokenomics of the coin. They have their team allocation, just like we've seen there, and that's how it's funded. So they're incentivized to create value to that token because, again, if that token goes from being 6 cents to 20 cents, that unlock looks massively different, and their revenue coming in also looks massively different. So that's kind of a big part of the goal. The fact that this wasn't even like a remote thought kind of shows that they don't really care too much about the crypto side, right? So to me, the viewpoint there was pretty clear because, again, that's a easy implementation of like adding demand to the coin, right? Which again would, even just doing that, like that would have been a much better announcement, because like, okay, yes, we're getting billed, but at least now there's utility, there may be demand now for the coin, which can potentially increase the value. So that would have been an easy implementation. So the fact that they're not seeing that shows me where their head is at also, that they're not necessarily caring too much about the tokenomics side, right? But I mean, those are the overarching things. There's quite a few other things as well. It's just definitely a little bit frustrating just to kind of see where it's been, because it's really hard to recommend at this point, right? So from here going on now, again, any of you guys who bought it, you bought the R1, you're 2 years, you don't have to worry about till 2027. But anybody coming in now, this isn't something I could recommend, right? I do not do much advertising on this channel. I specifically do not do sponsors. I specifically do not even do memberships. I don't do anything to get money from you guys unless it's something I believe in. I do affiliate links with stores that I work with, which even on that front is extremely limited, only because I have a strict criteria for who I do work with, and it's basically because I've purchased from them or that's who I purchased from. As far as projects like this, it's very rare that I do one. This was one of the few, and it's because, again, I saw value in it. It made sense. With these changes, with this new mechanism, it's not something I would personally recommend. So because of that, I will be removing that affiliate link, because it's really that simple. For me, I will only do those types of things that I would recommend to a close friend or a relative. For example, if my sister asked me, hey, heard about this DIMO thing, what do you think about it? I'd say, no, don't do it. It's not worth it, right? Unless you're a person who's going to value that data, who's going to value those onboard diagnostics, which in her case she wouldn't. She don't even know what the hell it is. it's just not going to make sense for the majority of people. Okay, well, kind of would make more sense to potentially have different tiers, right? Maybe have it so you don't have to use the LTE to upload that data, right? We all know these things have Bluetooth. Why couldn't it just forego that whole theory and go with the Bluetooth on your phone and have it upload that way? Like, there's maybe different tiers they could have released, or maybe have a tier where it's just for giving up that data but not necessarily any of the app features. Like, maybe that's something that they could also consider here as well. But the fact that that wasn't on the forefront, like, this is where the disconnect is, and this is where my view and what they're doing and their view is completely different, right? So, like, for me, for example, lost a lot of faith in DIMO. So, like, from the investment perspective, not on the same page, right? So, to each their own on what you want to do with your DIMO. At the end of the day, it's still going to be earning till 2027. So on that front, I'm good. But if I don't see the same vision, if I don't see the same value with that project as a whole, because again, you're not going to get rich off of a DIMO device or even a fleet of these things, right? You can potentially, if you're a tech investor who's investing in these technologies, and most things I'm participating in, I'm also an investor in. This definitely just changed that perspective. Again, you do you, you value whatever you value. That's just how I see it, right? So do see a lot of negatives, things that they could fix. But again, for me, the bigger issue is just I don't like the vision where they're heading, right? So even if they do implement these things, you know what? Maybe we'll make it so you have to buy the demo. The fact that that wasn't a big forethought at the beginning, it shows the disconnect in the vision. And the fact that you're willing to charge the contributors of the network and force them to be consumers of the network, also don't like that vision. Even if they change these things tomorrow because of all the backlash, the damage is already done, right? We kind of see where their viewpoint is, and I'm just not a fan anymore, right? It's really that simple. If I don't see value in it, I'm not going to recommend it to people. Again, at the end of the day, you do you. If you already have one of these devices, which I do, I'm going to be running it, of course, all the way through then. My Tesla, for example, though, as soon as they start charging, I will 100% not be paying for it. The value just doesn't make sense, right? So we'll see how this stuff pans out. Probably still be following it, but definitely lost me with all these changes. And not even necessarily the changes, it's the viewpoint of the project, which in reality is a good thing because now we definitely see where their focus is, where they're pivoting on, and it just doesn't align with what I value. Okay. Let me know in the comments though, guys. What do you guys think of all these changes? Are you guys in line? Do you guys like paying? Like, it's crazy to see all these people like jumping on it. Let me know in the comments though, guys. What do you guys think? Please comment, like, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. And I am out.